Hey everyone, and welcome to today's daily yoga flow. To begin, we're going to start off in a child's pose, having our knees as wide as the mat and our toes touching together. Thumb on the on our heels, and we just lay our hands out in front of us and sink our chest down, bringing our forehead down to the mat. And we just hold this position for a few breaths and settle in. Taking deep breaths in through the nose, feeling your lungs expand, and sighing it out through the mouth. When you're ready, push ourselves up into a nice tabletop position, hands below shoulders, knees below hips. And we just do some rotations around our wrists just to get some blood flowing in our wrists nice and warmed up. Moving either in a clockwise or anti-clockwise position over our wrists before changing over and moving in the other direction. Going at your own pace and your own speed. Before finally meeting me back in neutral position, we're going to go through a few rounds of cat-cow. So taking a deep inhale through the nose, we're going to stirp our bellies up, looking up as high as we can. And then as we exhale, we're going to round our back, bringing our chin to our chest and doming our backs up. Inhaling to dip our bellies for cow. And exhale for cat. Go into 2 more rounds at your own pace. And on your last exhale, meeting me back in neutral tabletop. From here, next up, what we're going to do is go through some bird dogs, lifting our left leg up and out behind us, pointing our toes as far back as they can, and then lifting our right hand up, bringing it up in line with our legs as we take a deep inhale. And then as we exhale, we're going to crunch our abs, bringing our elbow to our knees. Inhale to expand, and exhale to crunch. 2 more at your own pace. And on your last one, bring your hand and knee back to the mat and moving on to the other side. So lifting our right leg and our left arm up to the line, taking a deep inhale, and then exhale, bringing knee to elbow. Inhale to expand, and exhale to crunch. And do 2 more at your own pace. And on your last one, coming back to neutral. From here, keeping your right leg grounded, we're going to lift our left leg up, keeping it bent at a 90-degree angle, and then just do some hip rotations, painting a big circle with our knees going in one direction before changing over and going to the opposite direction. And then when we're ready, we're going to bring our left foot over to the front, placing it by our left hand, placing it down, and then with our back leg, we can either slide it down, keeping our knee grounded for more passive lizard stretch, or if you can, maybe lifting your knee up for more active. Holding this position, feeling nice stretch in your hammies and in your hips, before finally placing all the weight onto your right hand and lifting our left hand up for a lizard twist. Holding for breath. before finally bringing it back down. Bring our back knee back onto the mat and placing our right or left knee next to it and moving on to the other side. So once more, lifting now your right leg up and doing some hip rotations, painting some nice big circles with your knee going in the one direction before changing over and moving in the opposite direction. Then when you're ready, bringing your right foot over to your right hand, keeping your left knee grounded or maybe lifting it up for a more active stretch, holding for breath, maybe just doing some free movement, moving your hips from side to side, and finally grounding your left hand and lifting your right hand up, reaching as high as you can go for a lizard twist. Holding for breath, or finally bringing your hands back down. And if your knee was on the ground, you can lift it back up, placing your right leg next to your left for a high plank. And from here, we're going to go through a vinyasa flow. So you can either bring your knees down to the mat or keep them straight as you lower your whole upper body down to the mat, coming down. And from here, you can untuck your toes and push your whole upper body up, either for a cobra or maybe lifting your hips and your thighs off the mat for an up dog. And then finally, tucking your toes, pushing back into our first downward facing dog. In your down dog, you might just want to maybe walk out your dog, pedaling your feet, bending one knee at a time, focusing on keeping a nice loose head and keeping your back as straight as possible. Then when you're ready, keeping your legs still, you're going to lift your right leg up, keeping it straight, pointing as far back as you can for a three-legged dog. And then as you exhale, you're going to bring your knee to your chest, pushing forward, placing your foot between your hands, lowering your left knee down, keep untucking your toe, and lifting your hands up for a low crescent lunge. Holding full breath. Before finally placing your hands down, framing your front foot, kicking your leg back into a plank, and going down as you exhale, maybe even keeping your leg straight this time. Inhale to go for a back bend, and exhale back into downward facing dog. Moving on to the other side, lifting your left leg up as high as you can go while keeping it straight, bending it and bringing it forward, placing between your hands and lowering your back foot, making sure your front knee is in line with the heel. Lift your hands up for a low crescent lunge, trying to push your hips as far forward as they can go before finally coming back down to frame your front foot, pushing back into a high plank, and then exhale as we lower. Inhale to push up, and exhale to push back into downward facing dog. Back to your right foot. Inhale to lift. Exhale to crunch, and between your hands, lifting up for low crescent lunge. And as we exhale, we're going to straighten our front leg, pushing our hips back and lifting our toes for a half Hanuman. From here, you can either try and balance with it on your hands, or if you can, throwing your hands back, keeping a straight back. Holding for breath before bending your front knee to frame the front foot, coming back into plank. Exhale to lower. Inhale to push up. And exhale to downward facing dog. Moving on to the left leg going up. Exhale to frame your front foot, lowering up into a low crescent lunge. Exhale to push back, lifting your toes, pointing up, and trying to throw your arms back as far back behind you. Holding for breath in your half splits. Before finally bringing your foot back, pushing back into a plank. Exhale to lower. Inhale. And exhale. Now, right foot going back up again. Exhale to frame. Inhale to lift. Exhale to push back. And then as you inhale, you're gonna bend your front foot again, placing your left hand next to your right foot and lifting your right hand up as high as you can for an easy twist. On your last exhale, placing your hands back down, going into a plank. Exhale to lower, going up, and pushing back. Left side, left leg going up as we inhale, pushing forward to a low crescent lunge, pushing back to half splits, and then pushing forward, right hand now going down to the mat, left hand reaching up as high as it can go. Last exhale, hands going down, kicking back into a plank, and you know where to go from here. Lowering down, coming back up for up dog or cobra, and then pushing back into your downward dog. Last little stretch, right leg going up, foot between the hands, going up for a low crescent lunge, pushing back into half Hanuman, coming forward to an easy twist. And then from here, as we inhale, we're going to bring our whole upper bodies up, keeping our hands straight and open for a twisted lunge. Then swing your arms down, pushing back into a high plank, lowering down, pushing up for your back bend, and then pushing back into a downward facing dog. Last one, left leg going up, bringing it between your hands, pushing up into a high, low lunge, pushing back into a half splits, placing your right hand down, left hand going up, and then on your inhale, pushing up into a twisted lunge. When you're ready, coming forward, framing your front foot, pushing back into a plank, and going through our last vinyasa. As we slowly lower, pushing up, and finally going back into our downward facing dog. From here, when you're ready, you can maybe start walking your feet slowly to the top of the mat. Once you reach there, you can just let your whole upper body hang. Maybe you're swaying from side to side, grabbing your elbows for a ragdoll. As you just let your whole body relax, keeping a slight bend in your knees. Then when you're ready, releasing your elbows if you are holding them, and take a deep inhale and go for a halfway lift, lifting our backs up, keeping as straight as possible. And as we exhale, we're going to lower back down to a forward fold. We're going to go to another halfway lift, but now we're going to take our two index and middle fingers and peace grip our toes. Holding on there, we're going to go for another halfway lift, holding onto our toes as we're just pulling up on our feet, trying to keep our backs as straight as possible. And as we release and exhale, we're going to grab the back of our legs and maybe just try and pull our chest and our head closer to our legs before finally releasing and relaxing. Then from here, we're going to tuck our chins to our chest and slowly lift our whole upper bodies, going up one vertebra at a time. Finally, with our heads being the last ones to come up, we're going to roll our shoulders back, palms facing forward for Tadasana. Holding this pose for a moment and just enjoying Feeling your feet nice and grounded. Before finally placing our hands on the smalls of our back, fingers facing down, we're going to bend our knees and push our hips forward, letting our head hang back. For a nice relaxing back bend, before finally leaning forward into our last forward fold. Now we can finally go back down onto the mats, and we can lay on our backs. From here, we're going to bend both our legs, bringing them to our chest. And you can either grab your shins or the back of your knees. Or you can do some quick rolling movements, going back and forth, getting a nice little spinal massage, going through 3 or 4 rounds at your own pace. And on your last round, you can come back up, meeting me in a boat pose, keeping your legs hovering off the mat. You can either keep holding onto your legs, or if you can, float your hands next to your legs. And with your legs, you can either keep them bent as is, or you can even straighten them for whichever one feels most comfortable. From here, we're going to do some ab crunches. So we're just going to slowly lower our upper bodies and straighten our legs, making sure to hover just off the mat before coming back up for a boat. Going through 4 more rounds of this. So as we exhale, we're going to lower our bodies, and then inhale to come back up. 3 more. 2 more. And your last one, try and make it as slow as you can. Really feeling every muscle in your body engage. And then come back up. From there, you can find relax, laying back on the mat as you prepare for Shavasana. Letting our feet hang to the sides, palms relaxed. You take a few deep breaths in and out. And just feel every muscle and every fiber in our bodies take a well-rested break. Slowly bringing our consciousness back into our bodies as we invite some movement, maybe wiggling our fingers and our toes, rolling our head from side to side. And if you want, you can maybe even stretch your hands up above your head, giving yourself a nice stretch like you're waking up in the morning. And from here, I invite you to either stay on your back or maybe roll onto one side, either your left or right, whichever feels most comfortable for you. And then when you're ready, still keeping your eyes closed, coming back up into a seated position, either with your legs crossed or on the shins. Then taking a deep inhale, lifting our hands up above our head, palms meeting up. And as we exhale, bring our hands down to heart center as we close our practice and prepare for the rest of our day. Giving us one last bow and thanking ourselves for looking after ourselves. I really hope you enjoyed this practice, and let me know if there's any other things you guys would like me to do or teach, and I hope to see you guys again on the yoga mat.